Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Truth About Real Estate Investing show. We have some special guests to record the intro to the show. So they happen to be in the office, so I thought I'd pull them in. What are your names?
Robin, Bruce,
Okay. And why aren't you in school today? It is a school day.
because we're helping people in school. Need?
Why do they need help?
They don't have clothes, toothbrushes, shampoo,
What else, Bruce?
body lotion. After, since we got too much water, we're going to donate some water to our other school because the school only got gloves.
So today we are executing the Thanksgiving edition of the Hamilton Bash Brigade. In case anyone doesn't know, this is the charity that I co-founded with my friend Roger, and Cherry is our CFO effectively for it. She her accounting firm donates the accounting services for the charity operation in terms of because it is a registered charity, so it is a corporation. So of course there's a significant cost to filing taxes for any corporation, as most of you real estate investors know. So yeah, it's this rent. So this year, Cherry and I will donate around $60,000 to operating this charity. Thankfully, we have some wonderful other donors and strategic partners. So because of COVID, we had to pivot. We used to do food. We used to focus more on food, but because of COVID, we had to pivot, and we've since partnered with a wholesaler. Now, most of you, when you think wholesaler, you think real estate, but no, think of like a clothing garments wholesaler. So the intermediary that purchases product from all over the world, a lot of stuff from China. So they have they sell toiletries and clothing and socks and gloves and toques and coats and stuff like that. So we are buying from a wholesaler, which saves us a significant amount of money. Basically, every dollar we spend, we get $4 of goods. So, for example, today we have about the retail value of our donations is about $100,000, but we spent just on around $24,000 to do so, and then our staff and our realtors, our accountants, our stock hackers, they all donated volunteered to execute. So actually, after I record this, I'll be delivering a van load of clothing and toiletries, and it's all brand new to a local school in Hamilton that where they have many kids in need. For example, they do a food program where 21 families get a food donation every week. So the need is great. We're just trying to do our small part. And thanks for you two for helping out today. Anything else you want to say?
No.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll let you guys go. All right. So now here's the proper show introduction. Welcome to another episode of the Truth About Real Estate Investing show for Canadians. I hope everyone's well and enjoying the nice fall weather we're having. As I mentioned, we did most of our packing outdoors today, and it was a lovely 20-ish degrees, so which was lovely. We're getting ready for Halloween over in our household. My kids don't have costumes yet, and they actually haven't asked for anything. So likely they'll just recycle last year's costumes. Me, on the other hand, I ordered mine on Amazon. I ordered it last year, and it arrived after October 31st. It's a tracksuit and a shirt for Cobra Kai. For those who remember the Karate Kid movies with Daniel LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. And the current remake that's available on Netflix. It's totally cool. I think it's totally cool. I wore my yellow and black jumpsuit with it has a huge cobra on the back, and the saying there is, I forget what the saying is. Strike hard, strike first. Cobra Kai never dies. All that sort of cool stuff. So I wore the jumpsuit to my kickboxing class on Saturday, and no one said anything. Most of the staff are younger. But I don't know what's wrong with young people these days, or I often do wonder if I'm the weird one. I do we do things that are less common. Speaking of uncommon things, Cherry and I closed on a turnkey duplex on the Hamilton Mountain that backs onto a shopping plaza that includes a Walmart Supercenter, an LCBO, Tim Hortons, a bank, bulk barn. The list goes on and on. The location is awesome. So literally the back fence backs onto this plaza. If my tenants ask for it, I'll probably even put a gate in so that cuts down on their walking distance. Anyways, the house was newly renovated. The basement renovation was done with permits. We closed, and the permits only closed just about 2-3 weeks ago. The main floor is 3 bedrooms with refinished floors, new kitchen, new appliances, brand new in-suite laundry. Our asking is $2,400 per month plus hydro. We've actually signed a young couple already to a lease, and they've already sent us first month's. They sent us a deposit. We'll get the first month's rent before they move in, before they get keys. The basement's fully renovated, 2-bedroom and 1 bathroom, separate in-suite laundry, renovated with permits, asking $1,800 plus hydro. Cherry and I do pay higher interest rates because of how our portfolio is structured. We're on the difficult end of the spectrum to lend to because of the number of properties we own. We are currently using a B lender on this time, so we are paying 4% interest plus a 1% lender fee, so that works out to 5% interest over 12 months. After 12 months, we'll shop around for a cheaper rate. When we offered on the property, we were projecting a negative $2,000 cash flow over the year. So again, that's negative $2,000 cash flow negative for over the 1 year, not per month, 1 year. But thanks to rents going up, we'll actually be slightly positive. And the market value of our duplex is also up over $70,000 already, and we just closed on it. We paid $850 for the property, and my down payment was about 20% plus closing costs. Therefore, my return on investment is almost 40%. Not bad. 40% ROI on day one of owning this investment property. Completely passive and turnkey. Yes, we got lucky, but we took the risk. And we received a flood of applications for rent just this week. And also two properties like mine were for sale. And between those 2 properties, they received a combined 44 offers. I know some view real estate as an investment, but I also view my detached bungalow as a small business. And my customers are tenants and potential home buyers. It looks like there's much demand for my product from both tenants and home buyers, making my detached bungalow a winning investment in my view. No, I don't make a lot of cash flow, but I have my stock hacking and my realtor business for cash flow. FYI, if for any realtors out there, we are still hiring for realtors who would like to work with our real estate investor clients. You don't have to cold call. You don't have to hunt for your own clients. We're actually just looking for someone to take our inflow of leads, inflow of new investors who want to work with professional real estate professionals who have experience in real estate investing. The URL for those interested is www.infinitywealth.ca/hiring. I know many out there are busting their butts for. Back on the investor track. I know many people out there are busting their butts for the 1% rule, where 1 month rent equals 1% of the purchase price in places like Alberta or New Brunswick. But my rules include being only a 1-hour drive from my properties. So it's got to be a reasonable distance for when we check on our properties from time to time. It's just the way that we operate our business that we personally inspect what we expect. Plus, I prefer the economic benefits of investing closer to the economic center of Canada, which is Toronto. Call me lazy, but our investing has extensive history of providing strong returns. And I remember my friends who focused on cash flow investing in towns in Ontario you've never heard of, or in BC, anywhere in Canada. You've never heard of these places before. And one of the regrets. So they share these things with me privately. They won't publicly say it, but their regret is their decision. They regret their decision. Led them to lack of price appreciation and even price regression for some of those who bought during the oil boom in Alberta and probably some in other resource-based provinces. But again, my properties are in Hamilton, Ontario. And again, we have a lot of people who want both to rent from us and to buy. So again, that's a winning formula in any business and investment. But on to this week's show. We have a special treat in an old friend, Mike Desormeaux, who I met back in 2010 when I first joined Rockstar Real Estate. And if anyone wants to know, yes, I am still with Rockstar Real Estate. I don't know why people think that would be any different. Mike is modest, but from my recollection, so I work at the brokerage too, he's been the top agent and coach at Rockstar in terms of unit volume since I met him. So 11 consecutive years, and his clients love him. Mike wasn't always successful, though. He comes from some serious humble beginnings, from living across from the train junction yard. If you don't know what train junction yard, there's very few areas where this exists, where trains, they slam them together so that the couplings between them fasten so that they can be connected to one another, right? This has to be done at a certain speed, and it's extremely noisy. So zoning to attain this is not easy because no one wants to live near this. This is where Mike's home was across the street from. Yeah, but things actually even went worse. Mike lived out of his car for a while, but then he eventually discovered real estate investing, and his life from there changed forever. Fast forward to today, Mike is a successful investor and now an author as well of a book called Wealth Won't Wait. It's about creating income in uncertain times. Funny enough, Mike always wanted to write this book and did so during the uncertain times of the early pandemic. Mike's an awesome guy. Also, he can speak from experience in helping probably at least 100 people or so make $1 million in real estate. He's got a bunch of crazy real estate stories to share, stuff you can't make up. And for those who think realtors have it easy, here's a behind the scenes look on the hustle and the risks some of us take on to do the right thing. Mike's book is on Amazon in physical version, soft copy, also Kindle, and on Audible. And again, you just go look it up on Amazon. Wealth Won't Wait. I give you Mike Desormeaux. Hello, Mike.
Hello, everyone.
What's keeping you busy these days?
That's a good question. If I'm going to be honest, it's finding my masks that we all have to wear because my wife is so kind to put them in the wash. And I tell you, if I wasn't married to her, I don't think I'd ever wash these things. I know that sounds absolutely disgusting. Yeah, I'd probably throw them out and put a new one on. But yeah, if I bring it, so sometimes they're in my pocket, whatever, I'll bring them in the house and I'll put them on the table to remind myself, hey, I got to bring this back into the car. And then I go look for it the next day. I'm like, where's my mask? And she's like, well, I washed it for you. So now I got to go grab another one. So that's keeping me busy.
Having 2 young kids and a very busy real estate practice. And
Yeah, 2 under 5 and then a third one on the way. Yeah, that's busy.
That is busy.
Yeah.
And you have a real estate portfolio?
Yep. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on your real estate portfolio?
Yeah, it's something that we've accumulated since 2008. I grew up in Toronto, live in Oakville. We don't have any properties within, like from Toronto to Oakville. All our properties are predominantly west. So Brantford, Cambridge, Kitchener, Hamilton, Stony Creek. We've done some other stuff in some more local markets, but the physical properties themselves are, predominantly west. Although we've helped investors north and east. Just I find because I like to personally manage the properties outside of the ones that we have in London. So London, I gladly pay a property management company that we work with. We've been working with them for over a decade. The monthly fee to manage those, specifically also because those are student rentals. So the stuff in London, we pay to property manage. The other stuff that I like to say, if it's within an hour radius, I'd like to take it on. Because, if let's just say you have 10 properties and you're paying, I don't know, let's just say $100 a month. $100 a month for property management, by the way, is a steal. Yeah, exactly. But that's $1,000 in extra cash flow you could be saving. But it depends on your lifestyle too, because I think, as time moves on and maybe let's just say kids get older, we want to travel more or whatever it is. If our lifestyle changes, we can easily put those properties into property management then if we decide to. That's the beauty of real estate. You have options. Student rentals, I'll gladly, maybe even if it's within the hour radius, I might put those under property management just because often it's these kids' first time away from home, so silly things can happen. One was, we mutually have these good friends, and when they travel to Europe, sometimes I'm watching over their homes for them. One was a York University 9-bedroom student rental. They get an email while away in Europe saying we have no hot water. No hot water. And they reached out, the owners reached out to me saying, hey, Mike, can you go meet Reliance or whoever it was at York University for the hot water tanks? Could you go meet the contractor out there, get the hot water going again for the students? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So, and go out there. This is why lock boxes are so great to have at properties, because they have a lockbox there with the keys. I knock on the door first. Nobody answers. I use the key, get inside. We go downstairs. Although this was a 9-bedroom, it was 2 bedrooms in the basement with a second kitchen. Go down there and I see a girl, her door to her bedroom's open and she's on Skype with somebody. Lights are off in her room and she wasn't startled. So maybe she, whatever reason, she didn't answer the door. So I'm like, hey, just here to get you hot water, introduced who we were. I'm with the service guy. She's like, oh, when you're done, can you do me a huge favor and find out why I have no power in my room? So I'm like, okay. I'm first thinking I'm going to try the most obvious, which is the circuit breaker. Because remember, I see her on Skype and her computer is plugged into the wall, but her room light is not on. So I'm like, I go to the panel. Nothing's wrong with the panel. Nothing's tripped. So I'm like, don't tell me it's the light bulb. So I go to the kitchen, grab a light bulb, go back to her room, switch out the light bulb, and there is light. Or in her case, power, which is insane. That's insane. But could you imagine now if let's say that was a London property, right, that I didn't have under property management. I get that call. I drive an hour and a half or almost 2 hours to London to change a light bulb. That'd be, not fun.
That's painful.
Yeah, it is. It's
also painful your friends asked you to do this.
Well, legitimately it was for the hot water, which legitimately there was no hot water. There really was an issue with the hot water tank. But it wasn't about the light bulb and the power. No, I was actually there for the hot water tank.
Yeah, that's the joy of student rentals.
Yeah.
Same. My student rentals are mainly, actually no, all my student rentals are under property management. Our other stuff we do in-house.
ODs?
Yeah,
Good.
Yeah.
So then why do you have the student rentals under property management for?
Same idea. Too many tenants.
Yeah.
Right? Too many simple things.
Yeah.
Right. And so like vanilla tenants, like
what's a vanilla tenant?
That's a terrible term. Sounds racist.
Yeah. Is that like Guaylo?
No. I mean like adults, families, those tenants. That sounds terrible too. Our non-student tenants, they're just generally lower maintenance.
Right.
They usually can figure things out, like not a light bulb.
Yeah.
No, actually, I had one. Oh my God, we had one tenant call saying the alarm in the furnace was going off. Right, so it's a duplex.
Right.
So I thought it was the smoke alarm inside the furnace.
Yeah.
Right. And to qualify the opinion, I knew that her boyfriend. I don't think they're together anymore, but her boyfriend was an electrician. No, in HVAC.
Okay.
It was an HVAC. So, like this must be a bona fide problem.
Right.
So I send my furnace guy, John.
Yeah.
I send John, and it's the battery in the ceiling smoke alarm.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Thank God I didn't go.
Yeah.
Because I'd be.
Yeah. These silly things happen. Yeah.
Sent an HVAC guy for an emergency call for a battery and a smoke alarm.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with the furnace.
Yeah.
It's like you didn't even know where the noise is coming from.
Right.
Oh, it's the joy.
Our house, which is a newer home now, the smoke detector went off the other night. And in new construction, you now have that strobe light.
Yeah, blinding.
Oh my God. I think it was 4 or 5 in the morning. The alarm's going off. The strobe light is flashing. Right. So for a split second, you get sight of where you're running to, right? I think I hit the dresser. I hit the wall. Until I got downstairs to find out which one was triggered. And then, I just disconnected it. And then the next morning, you know what I did? I got a aerosol can from Amazon, that sprays computers, gets dust out and whatnot, and just used that to clean out. So probably from the construction when it was built, usually they have that plastic to cover the smoke detectors. Possibly it was off and you got some debris in there and whatnot. But yeah, cleaned that out and got it back up right away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Good times.
Were all the smoke alarms triggered?
All of them were triggered.
So all the visual.
Yes. So in the kids' rooms and throughout the whole house, and it is loud. Yeah. So you got this loud, piercing sound because now the smoke detectors, remember before by code, they were outside the rooms on each floor in the hallway. Yeah. Now it's in every bedroom as well. So it is in the hallways of every floor, but also in the bedrooms. Yeah. And then this piercing bright light for a split second, and then you're left in darkness again. It's brutal.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
We have so many friends who are firefighters.
Yeah.
We have so many friends who are firefighters who've never seen a real structure fire.
Yeah. Well,
and they've increased the fire code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, this will wake you up. That's for sure.
Terrible.
Yeah.
We'll come back to your new home in a bit.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I know you for, because I've known you for since 2010, is
11 years. Hey, wow.
I know time flies.
It does.
So I don't know how. I know you don't like to talk about yourself.
Yeah.
But you've been the top agent at Rockstar for pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, I'd say busy. I'm busy. That's all. Busy.
Okay, sure. We can quantify it that way.
Right.
That's not how I quantified it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
There's pretty much everyone knows your top dog. So for anyone who doesn't know, Mike Desormeaux is a real estate agent and an investor coach at Rockstar Real Estate. We've worked together at the same brokerage for 11 years. Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been successful the whole time. But you've come on quite a journey.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's start with a little bit, because you didn't. Before we were recording, we were talking about how you didn't come from like a family of success or wealth. Like you had to basically invent yourself.
Yeah.
Like the current version of yourself.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So only child, parents were predominantly, like they had no formal education. My mom had me at the young age of 19. So at 19 years of age and having a child, like what do you really know at that age? But
I didn't know anything. I was an idiot.
Exactly. Yeah. So they taught me the best they could. So they gave me strong values: work hard, don't complain, try to be the best at whatever you're doing. So I wouldn't say there wasn't success growing up, because I think those key traits could help lead a young mind to success. But yeah, there was a time there where I'd like to say that we had no fixed address. We'll just say that.
Right.
So lived across from the Canada Packers, which is now has obviously changed. But at the time that we were there, we were literally 8 or 9 doors down from the slaughterhouses. So the odd bull or cow would get loosed. And back in the day when I was a child, so the way it worked is, so we fronted onto a park, which sounds great. No, this neighborhood, back in the day, was a rough neighborhood. And then just on the other side of the park was the railroad track. So what those tracks, it wasn't a passing track where cargo or commuter trains go by. It was the end of the track where the cargo trains would be released or connected. So all times of the day or night, you would hear boom, and it would be a chain reaction. Right. And I remember people would come by and visit and just say, how do you sleep, or how can you live here, whatever. To me, you become numb to that after time. Right. But to me, it was nothing. Like, I didn't know better at the time. Right. We were in apartments before that, but that was the first property that my parents actually bought. And then after that, we went we went a little sideways for a bit. But so, and when we were kids, imagine there's a park across the street. If these cattle got free, they ran to the park. The police would come and shoot them dead in the park in front of the kids.
There's no other option?
I think they would try to corral and get them back first, and if that didn't work, no, they just shoot them dead. That would not happen today. There's no way. At least I don't think it would happen today. Yeah. Yeah, and then depending on which day the wind's blowing, you might get a pleasant smell that day, or for days, or for weeks. Right. It depends. Yeah, but that whole area has changed now. Anybody that I know that has worked, so in the neighborhood, obviously there would be the odd person that would work at the slaughterhouses, and if they did the chickens or whatever, till this day I know people that will not eat. Like if they were working with the chicken, they don't eat chicken. They just can't do it. They can't stand the smell. Yeah.
Chicken PTSD.
Yeah.
Crazy. So I did ask before we recorded if anything was off limits. So just for the listeners' benefit, I asked everyone if anything's off limits. Yeah. So you did live in your car for a while.
Yeah. Let's say no fixed address. Yeah. For a while. Yeah. And then at one point I got discovered that I was sleeping in a shopping mall, and It was while I was actually doing security for this particular shopping mall, and then the owner called the mall manager called the owner of that mall and said, "Hey, you guys got a property that you need somebody to live in, and I got a guy that needs a place to live. Can we send him there?" Which was me. So I went to that place, corner of Jane and Rutherford. It was an abandoned home. These owners who owned the mall were heavily invested in real estate, heavily invested. The mall was just part of their real estate portfolio. So southeast corner of Jane and Rutherford, the house is still there, I believe, to this day. Possibly not now, though, because there are some big developments. Like there's a big, I could show you on my phone after, one of those poster boards of what's up and coming, and it's several condominiums. It was a 10-acre lot. I went in there. The house ran on oil and water, and when it rained inside the house. Like it was an older house, but you know what? For that time, and it was, you know, a good amount of time that I was there, it was home. And unfortunately, there were times where there was a slight incline to get to the house, so you had to drive. So it's on 10 acres, which sounds really odd at Jane and Rutherford, but yep.
Good
it was,
Lord.
Yeah, it was there before Vaughan Mills was there. So it was just Wonderland in this house. And then Vaughan Mills slowly came, and then the whole area just exploded. Yeah. So a slight incline to get up to the house, and you had to drive down this little path. And if we didn't call the oil truck fast enough to come give oil, we would not have heat. And that had happened. The tank would run out because the oil trucks couldn't make it up, and we would have no heat for a while. Yeah. That was crazy. And as a backup, we had a generator because when they were considering developing, they had the place surveyed, and they were putting up some screening, some fencing, and the guys who were doing that clipped the power to the house. So we got a generator, and that was one of the times shortly after that where the whole GTA, remember when it went into darkness for a few days? Yeah, so we were one of the few people with a generator. Wow. Which was convenient at the time.
You were one of the richest people in the world at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what changed? What changed? Because you were on that trajectory.
Right.
No fixed address, and now.
Yeah.
Do you even know statistically where your performance is? Again, I know you don't like talking about yourself, but we need to somehow quantify, because you gotta be top 1%, top 0.1% of realtors in like the world.
Yeah, but when you're going through it, you don't really see what you're going through. I don't know how to describe it. So there's always been a grind, and I think I've been taught those traits since I was young. That's the way I see life. You're gonna rust out or you're gonna wear out, and I rather wear out than rust out. So I'm riding on the shoulder of giants as well, like being at Rockstar and you know with some great people there, Tom and Nick. Like I truly am riding on the shoulders of giants. So you're the average of the 5 people you hang around the most, right? And I'm hanging around some great people. So I think you got to be careful of the groups that you associate yourself with. First and foremost, and put yourself in those circles, and it's just gonna wear off on you. Yeah.
So can you move us forward to before you were doing real estate? Because I know you worked at a bar.
Yeah.
And what else? You had 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Or probably more than that.
Yeah. Really, I always pretty well had 2 jobs. Yeah, always
2 jobs.
Yeah, I was doing security and sleep medicine at one time. I was doing sleep medicine and bartending. Then I was doing bartending and real estate. And then once the real estate portfolio and then the clientele grew, then I got rid of the bartending. So yeah, always going at it. Yeah.
So what was your first taste of, I don't know, better word, first involvement with investment real estate?
It was a childhood friend of mine who moved to Oakville, and this is when I was living in the GTA, and he said, "Hey, you got to come out here. This area is exploding, and you should buy pre-construction." And I came out, and I'm like, "Whoa, this Oakville place is far." This was in for context, this is in I want to say like 1990. I'm bad with years. It's in the 90s for sure, the earlier 90s. So I came out and rode his coattails in regards to, he's like, yeah, this particular area, this particular subdivision, you should get something here. So I did. Bought it. I saved every penny I had to be able to put a down payment on a property. And then I moved from the so that now this is going to be the first time that I'm a homeowner. So I move into this house, Irwin. I took a mattress and a TV with me. That's all I had to my name. That was it. Luckily, I had some pretty good friends. So that same person, he was married. He was young at the time as well, but they had an extra bed. So they gave me this rusted bed frame that I took to the back, spray painted it black. I remember. So now I had a official bed set. Another friend lent me a dining room set. I had somebody else that was very kind that bought me a love seat and Chesterfield set. So I was setting the house up for staging. This wasn't for me. There was Winners at the time, not HomeSense. I went to Winners. I bought picture frames. I was certain to keep the price tags on these picture frames because I knew I'd have to return them. I had every single cent into the properties. I went to the Oakville Public Library and I went to their black and white photography books. I photocopied the photography. I took those papers and slid those into the picture frames. That's what I used to stage the house. Did for sale by owner and then sold that first house, made decent money and was hooked ever since. And you know what, it wasn't like, so that was the main catalyst, but growing up, you know, you hear about, I was the type that, you know, if I heard, so we know somebody else mutually that does audio video. He would tell me about people's homes that he would go into and put in $150,000 audio video system. I'm like, who are these people? I didn't care about the audio video system. Yeah. I'm like, what does this person do? Yeah. And it was in the different careers that I've had as well. The mall owners, for instance, it was real estate. The common denominator always came back as this person either from a business they bought real estate or, you know, they just on the side start buying real estate. The common denominator was these people had real estate. So real estate was the path I wanted to take. I guess that certainty of, hey, you know what, you are on the right path, continue down this road, was that first flip. Then I did a few more of those in Oakville, then went into Rockstar, did rent owns, regular rentals, got into single families, converting them to second suites, got into student rentals, and then helping other investors do the same. And then it's been the easiest path that personally I've seen be just give people the ability of to me it's freedom. It's not about, you know, the book that I have, Wealth Won't Wait. It's not about it. It is about wealth, absolutely, 100%. But that wealth is the catalyst to freedom, to not only do what you want when you want, but also not to do something you don't want to do. And it's been the easiest that I've seen, business in a box, because real estate doesn't matter what color you are, how old you are, your education. It's the same for everyone. Real estate does not care. You good home in a good area, and you're gonna be in good shape.
I thought of something recently because I hang out with other entrepreneurs, mm-hmm. and many of them don't invest in real estate. Mm-hmm. Now, you've tried lots of stuff too. You've tried mm-hmm. lots of side hustles too. Yeah. So I know you sampled around. Now think about it. How easy is it to make $1 million in a business, right? So not do something outside of real estate. Any business you want. Yeah. You know, Amazon business, anything. Yeah. Right. How easy is it?
Yeah.
Right?
Not easy. Yep.
How easy is it to make $1 million in real estate?
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, yes, yeah, for sure. It's we don't have a crystal ball.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah, I know, and I feel uncomfortable saying it, but yes, you're right.
Right.
I can't refute that. You're right.
Right.
And but at the same time, I feel bad, but I feel like you know the magician's trick. You know what I mean? Like, let's face it. Before I thought there were smart people, authority figures, I thought were smart. Mm-hmm. You got that credential, doctor, cop, whatever it is, because you're smart, you're doing the right thing, mm-hmm. government positions. Now I think the cat's out of the bag. Mm-hmm. That's not so much the case. So the reality is, if you are middle class right now, you are clearly, and you're not doing anything in regards to investing in assets, a side hustle, the stock hacking. If you don't have other streams of income coming in, you are falling closer to poverty than you are moving towards wealth. And I don't like that. I absolutely don't like that. But unfortunately, that's the reality. And I think it's getting worse and worse.
Oh, yeah, totally.
With the debasing of our currency, and it's just unbelievable of the money that the government's throwing into these just everything right now. If you're not making at least 16% increase in your salary, if you're a paid employee, 16% increase if you're an entrepreneur in your business, compound it year over year. If you're not doing it, you're not keeping up. That's just to keep up. Never mind to just stay where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think people need to ignore whatever inflation numbers you see in the media and just look at what you see at the grocery store.
Yeah. That or I was thinking about this too recently, and it's multiple builders and trades that I've spoken with. Forget about supply chains. Supply chains are ridiculous right now. They don't foresee this getting any better next year. And builders' costs are going up. I'm hearing from multiple builders, 30%. So if builders' costs,
including labor too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's hard to get guys back as well. Yeah. That's another story that this pandemic has caused. They're having a hard enough time getting employees back. So first of all, they're not going to build as fast anymore. They never could build fast enough. So they're going to build even slower now. Their costs are going up by at least 30%. That's going to fall to the end user. So where's appreciation going next year? I'll just throw that out there. Yeah.
I know it is terrible for many people.
Yeah.
But then look at the people who already own real estate.
Yeah.
It's funny because you and I say it's terrible because it is terrible. But it's actually a boom for our existing real estate.
Yeah.
Right.
It is. Yeah. So that's why, I think it's just so important that people get some side hustles in there to, I just don't know how the younger generation is going to be able to afford a home. You're coming out of school, if you do go to school with a pretty significant school debt, as those debts rise as well.
Because the cost of education is going up.
Yeah. So they're literally coming out of university or college with a mortgage sometimes, and they don't even own a home.
Yeah.
And then now they got to afford $1 million home. Do you remember when we were younger? What was the goal? Like, it'd be great if I'm a millionaire. Yeah. A millionaire today, you're lucky if you have a house if you're a millionaire. If you get a house is about $1 million. So I think that has shifted to at least, you got to be looking at, if you want to be a millionaire, it's like decamillionaire. Does that word exist? Like you need about 10 millions or new million, which is crazy.
Totally crazy.
Yeah.
Totally crazy. All right. We have lots of stuff to cover still, Mike. So we're going to be here for another 2 hours.
What's that?
We're going to be here another 2 hours. I know you have nothing to do today. So, so before we move on, I want to talk about, because you mentioned standing on the shoulders of giants, right? I know that meeting Tom and Nick was a big event in your life.
Yeah, Ruben, as well.
Can you share? I don't want to leave Ruben out.
Yeah. Okay,
so Ruben's been on the show before.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's listened to it because that was like 4 years ago when Ruben back.
Yeah.
Okay, so where do you want to start? Ruben or Tom? Or actually, no, they go together.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
So what do these friends mean to you?
Yeah, the world just even from how we met, Ruben thought I stole his bicycle. He was the new kid in the neighborhood, sends his biggest friend over to me saying, "Hey, where's my friend's bike?" And I'm like, "It wasn't me. But you know what? I'll help you find it." And I did help them find their bicycle because I felt bad. They're the new kids in the neighborhood and they had these nice bikes and it was stolen. Yeah. It was the wrong neighborhood to have a nice bike. So, and ever since then we became best friends. So that was probably when we were about 11 years old. So we've been friends now for almost 40 years. And then Ruben's coattails in regards to getting into Oakville real estate. And then on one of the properties that I was trying to sell in Oakville, I couldn't sell it and I needed to close on another property. So the property that I couldn't close on, as a penalty, the builder was charging me $1,000 a week. Every week I couldn't close. And let's just say I didn't have $1,000 to be blowing every week. So I asked Ruben, is there any way you can cover me for a few weeks? And he couldn't. He had a young family. And then he reached out to Tom. And Tom and I never met prior to this, but he has heard my stories and about me from Ruben. And Ruben was Tom's boss at that time. And Ruben approached Tom and just said, hey, you know that guy Mike, he's in a bind, he needs a couple thousand, would you be able to lend it? Tom was not in the position to lend that type of money out either. And you know him though, the most giving person in this world. I don't know anybody more giving than this gentleman. And he wrote a check to Ruben. I think at the time I thought it was $25,000, but I think when we look back at it now, it was for $2,500. But at that time, it could have been $2.5 million. It was a lot of money at the time. But anyways, Tom gave the check to Ruben. Ruben gave the check to me. I gave it to then the builder to hold the builder off for a couple of weeks. Was able to sell the house, close on the new one, move into the new one. I then get. So I close. I asked Ruben, I'm like, can you tell me where Tom lives? So Ruben gives me the address. I knock on his door. Tom doesn't answer. His wife Carol does though. And so remember, I've never met them. They've never met me. And I said, hey, I'm Mike. I'm the guy that you guys lent the money to.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Here's your check. Yeah. With a little bit of extra money. And here's a bottle of wine. And I just want to say thank you. And then left. And then, yeah, they formed Rockstar. Now remember, and I know now I want to go down this path of real estate. So I went out and got my license, and then they formed Rockstar. I came in actually as an investor first, and then I immediately escalated into helping other investors do the same.
So you're one of the first two agents at
Yeah,
Rockstar?
yeah. It was myself, Leslie, Tom, and Nick at the time. Yeah.
OG.
Yeah.
And that was 2008.
Yes, it was. Yeah. Yeah. A different time. Yeah.
Because I joined in 2010.
Yep.
So they were only 2 years old.
Right.
Rockstar was only 2 years old, but they were doing some
Yeah.
stuff at another brokerage before that, right?
No, I think that was the first one. So that was a Keller Williams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And global financial crisis. But you know what?
Perfect timing to get in.
Perfect timing to get into this business. Yeah. But the reality was the starter market was unaffected. So it was a little different. If you could believe, back then properties would be on the market 30, 60 days. You can actually negotiate back then on price, inspection, financing. We were increasing our commissions. Hey agent, you're offering 2%, 2.5. We want 3% to bring a buyer in. Hey, we're going to cover, we also want your seller to cover our buyer's closing costs. It was a totally different market back then. Yeah, it's good times. Buying houses for mid to high 200s. Yeah.
So it's nice to get a larger percentage commission, but those dollars were small compared to today.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Good point.
I was looking at a listing that Cherry wanted to buy on a 4-level split in Hamilton, and the deposit on the listing said $50,000.
Right.
Remember the days it was like $1,000-$2,000?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. You're right.
No inflation here, folks.
Yeah.
Move along. 4.1%.
Yeah.
All right, so Tom, generous. That's absolutely wild. Now I want to dig into how you got to be the number one agent, because it didn't come easy. It's not like you don't work for it.
Yeah.
Like nothing landed in your lap.
Yeah, you're being too gracious here. Yeah, no, there's a lot
of
high flyers.
you're the overly humble guy.
No, there's a lot of high flyers. No, it's just first of all, I've been doing this a long time, and it's just I really take joy in helping other people do this because of what I've seen it afford their families. Like I don't honestly know of another way to propel somebody's freedom than getting into strong assets or a business or what you're helping people do on the side as well. Like you just need these other streams of income coming into your life, and to see it pay off, because let's face it, it's a slow moving train in the beginning. You don't see any immediate rewards that everybody's looking for that nowadays. And I don't have that magic pill. There's no get rich quick that I'm aware of that's legal anyways. So it's a slow moving train. And you don't need multiple properties. One property can change your life. But I think after about 3 years with some mortgage pay down, hopefully you get some appreciation. Now possibly you're able to refi, pull that money out, buy your next property. I think it's after about 3 years people start to see a noticeable change, especially if they've been conservatively buying 1 or 2 properties per year. So now you're in the 3rd year, you got 4 or 5 properties maybe. Again, you don't need to have 4 or 5 properties, but if you do, you're in a different space. Yeah.
Yeah, Cherry wants to keep buying properties.
Nothing's wrong with that. We went to Manitoulin Island a few weeks back, and I'm looking at the green belt there. So usually when we think about the green belt, we're thinking about the one around us here around Southern Ontario. I didn't realize it goes all the way out there. And to see it there, to see it in person is another thing. It's just we're squashed in between the world's largest green belt and water and a very desirable country where a lot of people want to live. And we have slow production on housing right now, and we have a flood of immigration coming our way. Supply and demand.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
People overcomplicate it.
Yeah, yeah. And now we've brought children into this world, and I think it's on us to help, at least give them a fair start. Mm-hmm. And I think a house for each child is necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's the point of RESPs?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You guys
advisor.
are. Yeah, no, okay. I'm the same. Yeah, okay.
I'll gladly compare my kids' houses compared to anyone's RESP. How they performed.
I did mutual funds way back in the day. I remember contributing. You had them take out a certain amount of out of your a check or bank account. I can't remember. No, bank account every month. And after 10 years, I think sure, it went up, but I caught up with inflation. So basically, I did get no further ahead than I would have. I should just put that somewhere else. So today I gladly own none. No mutual funds.
So your kids are going through a very different thing. I know they're a little bit young, but I'm sure you have plans. Like, what are your plans on teaching them? Because it's really funny now. Like think about who you were surrounded with when you were a kid,
right?
Or even who your parents were surrounded with. Compare that to who you're surrounded with, and the opportunity, and the start that your kids get, So it's actually a very common problem I hear from other entrepreneurs and real estate investors is how do you raise humble kids?
Yeah, for sure. I think and I'm figuring this out as we go with the children for sure. I just don't want to coddle them too much, and it's hard not to as a parent. I know that's easy to say because you do want the best for them, and you do want to protect them. But somehow I want to instill a grind in them as well, and I'll do my damnedest to do it.
So I've joked, and I'm actually partly serious. Like, I want my kids to work at McDonald's. I want them to work at Starbucks.
Sure.
I want them to work for minimum wage.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrible, but
no.
Actually, I must say,
No.
I want them to grind. A friend of mine got sent to a third world country to volunteer in a orphanage.
Right.
Right. And he comes from extreme wealth.
Right.
And when I think he was 16.
Yeah.
To a country where they didn't even speak English.
Right. Wow. Yeah, that's a good experience because you may recall I've gone to Haiti a couple times for those villages. Yeah, and I remember a couple parents did bring their children with them and to see what they're going through. The kids at the orphanage. These are places where there's a knock at a secured gate, and it's a parent dropping off a child. Like, that's it. I can no longer take care of my child. They're giving up their child. Could you imagine that? And these places that these kids are in, like it's dirt and rocks. Like the walls are concrete walls, and on the top of those walls is glass that's been cut, and it's like a barbed wire so that nobody climbs and steals the kids. There's no glass windows. These kids can't see themselves. There's no mirrors, iPads, iPhones, nothing like that. So when we came in as a group, so through another foundation, the Caring House Foundation, a bunch of investors, we went down there and provided 25. It was a self-sustaining village. It was we basically paid for 25 homes to be built, a church that also acted as a recreation center, and water as well. And now these investors are coming down with iPads and a camera. And I clearly remember some of these children with an iPad in front of them, because you know how you can reverse the image so you can see yourself. It was the first time these children have ever seen themselves. Could you imagine that? That's
never seen a mirror.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing to see themselves in there. It's dirt, rock, and concrete. That's it. So yeah, but you know what? Happy kids, very happy kids. When you don't know any better, because remember, there's no TV, there's no they don't see any different. They just think that's the way life is. So that may be a humble experience to bring a child to. I don't want to traumatize a child, but yeah, at a certain age, I think that they would get something out of that 100%, because I did as a grown adult. Like that was crazy.
Yeah, because you've been back.
Yeah. We've gone twice. Yep. And it was the simple things as the kids blowing a bubble. Like we take that for granted. We can go anywhere and grab bubbles for our kids. They don't have stores like that. They have nothing. I can't stress how they have nothing. And to give them bubbles.
It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere.
Yeah. I know, but you go to Dominican Island and on your vacation and you think, things are somewhat, normal. It's Haiti's completely different. Completely different. We're with armed guards bringing us to these orphanages. Like there's armed guards at the gas station even. Like it's completely different. So yeah, just seeing the kids blow the bubbles and the bubbles go up in the air. There's something symbolic there that I don't know. That stuck with me.
Pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah. You just, yeah.
I don't know if I could go.
Yeah.
I think it's too much. Supporting the poor in Hamilton's not as far as I can
Yeah,
go.
with your basket brigade, it's perfect. It's closer, it's easier, and you're having an amazing impact there.
Thanks, Mike. So the show is called The Truth About Real Estate Investing.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't become your success was not handed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were recording, you mentioned like early in your career, it was like 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night.
Yeah.
Because that's all you had time for.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Because you mentioned you had 2 jobs. You did real estate and you were bartending, but then you just replaced the bartending with more real estate.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So how many hours? So like, can you elaborate on that? Because again, the show is called about truth about real estate investing because, like, you and I know there's a lot of misinformation out there.
For sure.
Right. And then and there's all the ads for being realtors, like, oh, you just do this and you'll be super successful.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like for Mike? How did Mike become crazy successful?
Yeah. It was 80-hour weeks.
80-hour weeks.
Yeah, for 10 years.
Oh, that's it, eh? Just 10 years.
You mean the 4-hour work week doesn't work?
Yeah. What happened to that?
Yeah. I know he gets flack for that, but even he comments that, hey, it was a catchy title. It worked. It sold a lot of books, but yeah. But
and he admits that before those 4-hour weeks, he was sleeping under his desk.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure. And he's probably still not doing 4-hour work weeks.
Yeah. And then he kind of changed it. Said, like, as long as you're following your passion, it's not work.
Yeah. Yeah. True. Yeah.
And then how many kilometers on your car?
Yeah, lots of kilometers. I remember, if inventory permitting, I'd be going from Oakville to London to Barrie, making those trips. Yeah, easily 40,000 kilometers per year. I could never lease a vehicle. Still will not be able to do that because I simply put too many kilometers on the car. So I have to buy them all.
Yeah. I remember when JP broke his 3-year-old car.
Yeah.
Because it had like 200,000 kilometers already.
Right.
And folks, this is the truth about how some of these super successful realtors are, is they hustle, right? 8 hour, that's a lot of hours over 10 years. And you said, like, you go to London or Barrie. You'd actually do that in a day.
Oh yeah, in a day. Oh yeah, it's not one day go to. That would be too easy. That'd be too easy. Yeah, I'm not on vacation. No.
So obviously you're one of the people that put in the extra 10%. It's more than 10%. You put in the extra 100%.
It's the thrill of the hunt. Yeah, it doesn't feel like it though, Erwin. Yeah, it's the thrill of the hunt. Going out there. And I guess, going back to the 4-hour work week, I am enjoying what I'm doing. So, right. And the nice thing about it today too is you can throw on a podcast like this. Back in the day, what was your other options?
Right.
A radio?
Yeah, with your sexy cold voice.
Yeah.
Oh, for folks who don't know, Mike doesn't normally talk like this.
Yeah. But just to be clear, I also don't have a cold. Yeah. It was a weekend of partying with some buddies at a cottage, and maybe I was yelling a little too much, cheering somebody on, doing crazy things.
That's the thing about when you're at like a party and there's music or whatever, and you end up yelling the whole night just to be heard.
Right.
And like that's worse than the hangover.
Yeah.
Because it lingers longer than the hangover.
Yeah.
That's the dumb part of it. So you have some wild stories. Because again, we know each other for 11 years. Mm-hmm. You have had some wild stories on the job.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Tell the listener about the hit and run story.
Yeah. So that was
That's a long time ago.
It was. Yeah, it was in Brampton, and Andrew, that also works at Rockstar, and I were out showing a couple of house. And as we exited the house, we were talking about the house in the driveway. They said they wanted to proceed with this house, and we hear a little like a metal on metal scrape, a car driving by, and then just ding, 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 and it was their side view mirror bouncing down the road, sparking, because it was about 9 o'clock at night. The people we were with said, "That's our car." So somebody just sideswiped their parked car on the street outside the front of the house that we were just showing. Without hesitation, Andrew and I left those people there. Andrew runs after the car. I jump in my car. This street winds left. Andrew's cutting through people's lawns. I get around the corner. Andrew's on the front hood. So he's standing on the ground with his hands on the front hood of this car. I'm now with my car. I blocked the guy in the back. I'm on the phone with 911. And I'm like, hey, there's a hit and run. Here's the plate. The guy's revving the car. Andrew's in front of the car. And I'm like, Andrew, let him go. I got the plate. I got the cops on the phone. And I was just going to follow the guy. And Andrew moves away. The guy pulls up 4 more houses, turns into his driveway. So I'm right behind him. He gets out of his car. He's not walking well, so he's intoxicated. I'm like, hey, you just hit a car. And he's like, what? I don't understand. Goes into his house. So Andrew and I just camp outside the house. Unfortunately, a helicopter went down in Brampton that day, so it took a while for the police to come out, but they came out, and we actually had to go to court for that as well. So crazy. Could you imagine, though, if it was seconds later and maybe this couple, because they had a small child, were walking across the street? Like, yeah.
Right. Did you get the deal done?
If it wasn't that one, there was another one that we definitely did eventually help them. I just can't remember if it was that one. I don't think it was.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, and then for the listeners' benefit, work isn't always like this. In case you're an aspiring realtor.
Yeah. No, there'll be crazy stories for sure. Yeah, lots has happened. Another one was when
the dog story.
Showing a triplex, and it was our turn to go in. I had a few buyers with me, and go up to the 3rd unit. So we're outside on the exterior stairs going up, and as we're going up, this couple's running down the stairs, and they're like, there's a lady trapped inside. These dogs have her trapped. So it was their realtor. So these people jetted out of this house. Their realtor is trapped in the bathroom of this 3rd floor unit. And they forewarned me that there's 2 good-sized dogs in there that are vicious. So I grew up with dogs all my life. I'm like, oh, no problem. So everybody else that I'm with stays on the stairs. I go into the house, and sure enough, the dogs are there. They're growling. They're looking at me. And as soon as you walk in, there's a kitchen. So on the countertop, I see a box of cereal. So I grab the cereal, put my hand in there, and I throw the cereal on the floor. The dogs look down at the cereal and then right back up at me. They didn't even take a bite. I'm like, I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. When food is not more important than the person in front of them, you know you're in trouble. So off behind me was
I've never seen that.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
Behind me was some kind of statue thing or whatever, and I grabbed it. And I was able to walk towards the dog to push them down this hall. So the lady was in the washroom of this hallway. And the dogs were going absolutely nuts, jumping up, snapping near my face. But I had this statue thing in front of me, and they're salivating as well. And it wasn't for the cereal. So as I get them down the hallway and past the bathroom door, I tell the lady, run out. So she opens the door, she runs out. And then I drop that thing, and I head out behind her. And then I realized, like in hindsight, looking back, why they were getting more vicious. And I've heard this from multiple people. Nobody was home in that unit, but they were protecting the master bedroom. So I've heard that from several people, that the dogs, if you go towards that master bedroom, owner, home or not home, that's where dogs will be their most vicious.
Right. Well, that's the most precious real estate.
Yeah, their master. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, looking back, was that the smartest thing to do?
Yeah. would I do it again today with kids? Everything changes, when you got kids. You get a little less daring.
Yeah.
I helped her out. Yeah, but no, not wise. I wouldn't advise that on anyone.
Crazy. Did you get that deal?
No.
It wasn't worth it.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts. Wait. Where were the dogs originally?
Where were they?
Yeah, was
I
the
don't
dogs open during the showing?
Yeah.
They weren't
how it
crated?
is, Irwin, though. Yeah, some of these listings, no offense to agents, but some don't do their due diligence. And back in the day, it's a little more professional nowadays, but back in the day, sometimes the tenants wouldn't even, or the owners wouldn't even get the heads up that we're coming.
Yeah.
So that could have been one of the same scenarios that tenants didn't know that we were coming. They left their dogs out and about, and things are a little more guarded today, I'd say.
I wouldn't go in.
Yeah.
Two big dogs?
Yeah.
Not crated?
True. Yeah. But maybe she thought they were caged or something. Because remember, that used to happen.
Right.
We'd go in and dogs would be caged or in a room, and they'd say, hey, don't go into this room.
Yeah.
Nowadays, there's not even overlapping appointments, right? It's a little more.
No, I'm saying like once you open the door, the dogs are.
Oh,
there.
Good. Yeah. Who knows? I don't know her story and what happened when she went in. Maybe the dogs weren't there. Maybe they were in the master bedroom. I don't know. Or maybe they were in a room that she opened up and they came out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Hopefully she got the deal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, Mike, like you mentioned in your parents taught you work hard, don't complain.
Mm-hmm.
Like at the start of the pandemic, you started writing your book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people complained.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't work hard.
Yeah.
And a lot of people complained.
Yeah.
in the pandemic.
Yeah. No, the catalyst for this is always in the background. I was formulating this book. And then when the pandemic hit and we were officially in lockdown, I just asked Sarah, I'm like, hey, if I'm ever going to do this book, now's the time. You okay if I sort of go back to long hours, seclude it, and get this done? And she's like, go for it. So that's what I did. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is because a lot of the content out there I felt was, as you alluded to earlier, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Or a lot of catch bait too, right?
Yeah.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
Clickbait, where the headline sounds good to get you to buy or to get you to invest or whatever, but then the practicality of like actually putting that into action and I don't know, like buying real estate, like the no money down books are these seminars that cost $20,000-$30,000 to invest in real estate. I think it's completely unnecessary. So I wanted to go very niche down into Southern Ontario, because you can't please everyone. And if you are trying to please everyone, you're going to please no one. I wanted to go specifically to Southern Ontario real estate. This is by a Canadian for Canadians, so that if they want help in Southern Ontario, then they have a great book that is true in the trenches stories and relevant happening now. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because you have lots of stories. Can you share how many properties you sell in a year? Because we were talking, because like you mentioned, like there's a lot of information out there.
Yeah.
And there's people that like who like proclaim to be experts, and they own like 3 properties.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah. A few. Yeah, quite a few. Yeah.
Come on, give me a number. Because I know the numbers. I can share if you want.
I'm worried about that as well. Yeah.
Right? Are you worried about the CRA? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, quite a few. And then quite a few.
You hit triple digits in the year before? You have, haven't you?
Personally, very, very close. Close. Team-wise, yeah. But yeah.
Nice.
I think a lot of teams have, but yeah.
Right. So Mike, as an individual realtor, almost hit triple digits, like meaning 100 transactions in a year. Mm-hmm. Like, so Mike comes from because whenever I'm looking for information, I look for people who have lots of data points, right? For example, when we're looking to what's the best real estate investment, like sometimes I'll even ask Cherry, because she sees everyone's tax returns.
Right, yeah.
She's got 300 tax returns to look at.
Oh,
she knows exactly who's making money and who's full of shit.
Yeah.
Right? She knows exactly who's full of shit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then, like, she has a lot of data to pull from.
Right.
And then to know what investments work.
Yeah.
And again, over 10 years, you probably transacted on over 700 properties.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think you're 100% right. Yeah, and you're very good at this though as well. You and Jerry, where if you want something, go to somebody that's actually doing it.
Yeah.
So if
In
it's
high volume,
yeah,
preferably.
yeah,
Because you have more options than ever, right? In terms of
Yeah.
like, it's easier to learn than ever.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a lot more shit to filter through.
That's the thing. Yeah, a lot of smoke and mirrors. So you're like, it's hard to. But once you find that person that is actually doing what you want, and they're achieving that, and they're not just selling a good program, they're actually doing it, and they have the results to show for it. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Then yeah, if you can have them mentor you or pay for their mentoring, whatever it is, go towards those. That goes right back to your success, whatever it is, in working out, in real estate, in stock hacking, whatever it is. If you're around, a great network, it's just going to wear off on you. Your average just raises up. Like they say, if you're the smartest in the room, you're in the wrong room.
So, Mike, some other things I want to clarify as well, because you and I are realtors. For any realtors listening to the show,
that's the F word to me, Erwin. I have my real estate license,
yes,
only because it gets me into these properties.
yeah.
Sorry for offending anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Because I'm the same. I don't like being lumped in with.
Yeah.
Because exactly what I was trying to get to.
Yeah, I'm a real estate investor, and I hope others do the same. Yeah.
So
yeah,
people with the same license that we have,
yeah,
the ones that don't do high volume, a lot of them, in my experience, I'll just say it, don't have the client's best interest at heart, right? Versus your clients love you, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, especially for the aspiring realtor or anyone working with realtors, what is it you do that keeps them coming back? Like, I've had a couple of your clients on the show and they rave about you.
Yeah, I just want to be. I would want. So I treat them the way I would want to be treated. And let's face it, this is probably going to be their most expensive investment in their lifetimes, and I don't want that to go wrong on them, because we not only help them buy the asset, we handhold them through the entire process, from finding, analyzing, filling, managing, whatever they need. We're hand-holding them through the entire process. I cherish sleep. Although I don't sleep much, those few hours that I do get, I cherish sleep. And I want to put my head on the pillow comfortably at night and just be happy and fulfilled that, what was done was right today. So I think, just doing the right thing. And if you feel that it's the wrong thing and there's money flashed in front of you, you got to let it go. It'll come back to you tenfold. So maybe not that particular opportunity, but something else will come around the corner. It just it's weird how the universe works, but it does. It absolutely does.
I forget. I think it was actually Nick Carrazza that said that to me, because I mentioned like years ago, like back in like 2010, 2011, I mentioned to Nick how all these people were reaching out to me for information, and I had no idea if anything would come back. So I think it was Nick that said things just have a habit of coming back. Keep putting out good, and good things will come back.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know how many times that's come true.
Yeah.
Right? Like I remember. Yeah, I'll work on that story another time. But I remember just. Someone reached out to me. Wasn't my client. Just reached out cold. Like they had a student rental.
Yeah.
They used I think a relative to buy from like Mississauga or something, to buy McMaster student rental property, and so he didn't know what he's doing. Bought a student rental, and then he bought like a 7-bedroom house, and then he signed 7 leases.
Oh, geez.
Right.
Yeah.
And then of course, the neighbor saw the sold sign go up and then come down, so immediately they called bylaw.
Right. Ouch.
Right.
Yeah.
So then he reaches out to me after like a 6 months of run around with the city. Like they advised him to go through a zoning change the zoning on a house to make it a legal lodging home.
Oh.
Not easy.
No.
Right? You won't get passed.
Yeah.
And then even if you do, it's going to be well over $100,000 in renovations. Right? Doesn't make any financial sense. Right? And then I advised him what to do, and then he became one of my better clients.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
That's great. That's great. This can be easy, but if you're handheld with somebody that maybe just doesn't have that particular expertise, maybe in that particular area or asset class, it can be a little painful for sure. Real estate is pretty forgiving, but there's limits to this as well.
Yeah, he got $1,000 fine, but that was it because I was able to coach him through how to fix the problem.
Yeah.
Right. And he was like, "Oh man, I got fined." Like, you got lucky.
Right. Yeah. That was great that you were able to help out.
Imagine if there was a fire. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Because as soon as I said seven single leases, you knew what the problem was.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But most people don't. Right. But like you said, it is extremely forgiving because that guy's made a lot of money in this house.
Right.
But it could have been really bad.
Yeah.
Right. Going down that path. So Mike, tell us about the book. What's in the book?
Yeah. It's from A to Z, if you want to invest in Southern Ontario. And I hesitantly say that because somebody recently reached out. So the book is on Amazon. It now is on Audible. So officially it went on Audible yesterday.
You read it?
So yeah.
You did it?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
Yeah.
How long did that take?
The whole production process was a couple weeks, and then the approval from, it's called ACX. It's part of Amazon. That took about 2 weeks, and then it went up on Audible. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. Thanks. But yeah, so somebody found it on Amazon from Ottawa. They grabbed the book. They ended up buying a house, and then he said, "Hey," so they reached out and said, "Hey, I had my wife buy her own book. He wouldn't even share his book, and then she bought a house." So I think there's a lot of stuff that you can apply pretty well anywhere in Ontario, but this is very, very specific to Southern Ontario. The A to Z, from the different types of properties, the benefits. It follows short-term goals and long-term objectives to sort of like, you can buy properties haphazardly and potentially you can do well. But we're trying to get down to also a system of, okay, what's your short-term goal? What's your long-term objective here? And as a result of that, then maybe you should go down this particular path or that particular path. Because every portfolio is not the right portfolio for everyone. It depends on where you are in your life. You know, are you looking for instant, like quick cash flow now because you want to pull the parachute on your 9 to 5? You're burnt out, stressed out behind a cubicle and you just want out. Then that's going to lead you down one path. Or is it you're content where you are? You see yourself there another 10, 15 years. Maybe cash flow isn't as important right now. So you just need something that's maybe break even. And because of that, now maybe you're buying in a more sort of like desirable area where a lot of people that are looking for cash flow are not. So yeah, the A to Z of real estate investing in Southern Ontario.
And I totally agree with you. It really depends on the individual. Because often the people come to me and say, "What's the best investment?" And I'm like, "Okay, how much time and money do you have?"
Yeah, very valid. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Time has a lot to do, and that's completely two different categories as well. Okay, how much time do you want to put in this?
Yeah.
Because that'll lead you down one path.
Yeah.
Okay, how much money do you have? That's a complete.
Yeah. So you have a ton of time and like no money. Very different strategies than like no time, lots of money.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Before we were recording, I mentioned how we're primarily only buying turnkey these days. It's because
You and Cherry, that is, right?
Cherry and
Yeah.
I, because we don't have time. Like I have clients all through the spectrum. They do. Some of them have tons of time,
Right.
and little capital. So they'll do the more risky, aggressive, intensive investing. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just not for everyone.
Right. Agreed for sure.
What's your own investing? Are you willing to take on intensive projects, like a full gut job and suite
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
or are you on the other side?
It's the opportunity. Yeah. So whatever the kind of opportunity plays out, I'll consider it. Yeah. So yeah, it could 100% be turnkey, somewhat turnkey, or completely. Right now, I think a lot of people are liking the second suites. So second suite that needs a complete basement reno and maybe an update on the main floor. I'd be willing to take that on. It's what's the opportunity? Yeah. When the third baby comes, that might change. So it might be turnkey.
Yeah.
It depends where you are.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised how few people are interested in turnkey. But again, like a lot of the information out there is all about doing intensive renovations and getting it off market.
Mhm.
You know, the last property I bought, I've made a bunch of money already. I haven't even closed on it yet.
Right.
It's just the market and the money printing
Yeah.
that's going
Yeah.
on in the background.
Correct.
Yeah. I don't believe the headlines, folks.
Yeah.
Inflation isn't 1.5%.
Right. Yeah. Times that by 10. Yeah.
Any mention of Bitcoin in your book?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't think so. Yeah.
So one of my regrets in life, and that's not that big a regret, but because of the pandemic,
Right.
because you and I used to, pre-pandemic, I see you at least twice a week in the gym, right? Then the pandemic happened, gym got shut down. I fell off the tracks on the gym side. And so my regret is because if I was going to the gym, I probably would have gotten into Bitcoin the same time that you and your friends were getting into it hardcore.
Okay.
Right. So because I missed out on that. You talk about being on
I
stand
thought
with
you were going to
Shoulders
say you're going
Giants.
to beat me at something at CrossFit.
No,
Okay.
that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Right. And if I do, it's because you have a previous injury or something. You can't get something in a certain position, and that's funny. Eh? My biggest regret is not getting Bitcoin tips back in last year's summer when it was $9,000.
Yeah.
And it's dipping to 42,000 now. I'm still FOMOing about $9,000 Bitcoin at $9,000.
Right.
And that's what you're talking about, standing on the shoulders of giants.
Right.
Because did you figure it on your own that Bitcoin was a good investment then?
Nope.
Or?
No, again, yeah, your circle of friends. Yeah. So, nope, Tom brought it to my attention, was kind enough to give me a book as well. And that was it. Don't feel bad. I just did it again the other day.
What's that?
At 42.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not late.
Yeah.
Not late. Did you see what happened with Twitter yesterday?
I'm on Twitter. Oh, yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah, with Strike and Twitter, instant payment internationally. So this is one of the world's biggest social platforms now involved with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That just happened yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
Peter Thiel's all over Bitcoin, is he
yeah,
not?
yeah. So I think we're still getting momentum on this.
I know, but again, if it wasn't for the pandemic, I would have been at the gym with you guys and getting into Bitcoin at $9,000.
Forget about the benefits of working out. But you're right. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah.
But you point though, you hang it with good people, you're just gonna get gold nuggets, Bitcoin nuggets. I don't know where you call it.
Yeah.
You get gold nuggets all the time, and yeah, I'm bummed out because I wasn't convinced to do Bitcoin until it got to over 30,000 or 25,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
So, yeah.
as long as you got in.
I get some, not enough. Because I believe in the same things you do, like money printing going on.
It's that, yeah, and just supply chains right now. What that's going to do to the real estate world. 2022 is going to be very, very interesting, and I will bet a steak dinner on this right now. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay,
let's do it.
Steak dinner, third quarter of 2022. I predict the list price of second suite properties on the Hamilton Mountain. What would you say they are today?
Dude, someone's listing one for asking $960.
Okay.
On the mountain, Hamilton Mountain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd say a lot of them are 850s, high 8s. But yeah,
these guys are reaching. These guys are reaching. But
I know exactly the one you're talking about. $1,038,000 is going to be the new list price come third quarter of 2022.
So 1038.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steak dinner.
I'll gladly take the bet just to hang out with you.
Yeah,
All right.
okay.
I'll invite my team too.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, listen to Mike.
But Erwin, these are properties that we were buying mid 200s, high $200,000.
Yeah.
That when you look at it that way, of how, and it's not that these properties are increasing in value. It's our money is depreciating in value.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. And going back to how long we've known each other, 11 years. The reality is, let's just go by decades. 10 years is going to come like that so quickly.
Yeah, that was
so quickly. And where are you going to be in the next 10 years? Because whether you like it or not, 10 years is coming. Yeah. And me, I'm 51 now. I call this the lap back, right? Right? Coming back now, 51. But it's important whether you're in it doesn't matter what age you are right now. You're in your early 30s, your 40s, your 50s. You got to do something to at least preserve what you have. Never mind getting ahead. To even preserve what you
to
have, you
hedge.
got to do something. Yes,
Right.
yeah.
Because the point I often make is, if you're a tenant today, you're probably gonna be a tenant for all. Not just you will be a tenant for life.
Right.
All your future generations will be tenants. You'll never
That's
have.
interesting.
You'll never
That's
be able to
interesting.
put down roots
Yeah.
and enter true middle class. Because
Yeah.
there's middle class income,
Right.
and there's middle class net worth.
Unless they're doing something, though, in all fairness, on the side. But I agree, it will be harder. They could have this other asset called real estate.
Yeah.
That's helping them out. But you are right. And you know what? I've never looked at it that way, because I don't see anything wrong with being a tenant, because then you have the luxury of not having to live where you are all the
No.
time. You can leave
Oh.
every year and, have extra disposable income
Right.
and whatnot. But I never looked at it that way.
I completely
You are
agree.
right. Yeah.
But the person you're talking about has options. I'm saying the
Yeah.
person who has no options.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I never looked at it as future generations, that they will most likely be tenants as well, because then what's the price for their future children's properties? I never looked at it that way. I'm always looking at it like for our kids. Like, I want to make sure that, first and foremost, that our family's taken care of, and that my kids are taken care of. My kids and their kids don't have to know about it, but me as a grandparent, when that time comes, I just want to know I've done my best. So we're talking helping multiple generations now, as opposed to, I think your first step is taking care of yourself, obviously. Then it's your family, if you're fortunate to have one, and then hey, if we can spread that one further down, and then just like you're doing, somehow helping other people out there as well. I think we've all done our part.
So, Mike, we're running out of time. Usually ask for a final word. I don't know if you can actually beat that. First off, where can folks get the book?
Amazon. It's available in the format of Kindle, paperback. Believe it or not, Amazon has hardcover now. And
cool.
Yeah, it just came out. Yeah, and then Audible as well. And then, you know what, Erwin, I have a promo code too that I haven't even looked into yet, because it just hit Audible yesterday. So I'll shoot that. Maybe you can include it in the show notes or something like that.
Yeah.
There's a couple promo codes for Audible.
And then, Mike, I like to give my guests any final words they want to share with the audience. Anything. Words of wisdom. Better than don't eat yellow snow, please.
Yeah. I think, I think we shared so much that I don't know, like you said, how to top off what I last said, but circle yourself around great minds.
It's funny because it's said so much, and then I see so many people don't do it. It's not even that hard, right? Like here's an example. Like Tom is very forthcoming about where we are, where we work out,
right,
and who comes. Right? It's public. Anyone can come to Radix and work out with us.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why that's because I'm always trying to combine experiences.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, when I did jiu-jitsu, I couldn't find anyone like super successful I wanted to spend more time with.
Yeah.
Right? Versus I could come to Radix, I could work out with you guys.
Right.
Everyone makes six figures. It's Tom, it's you, like super successful.
Yeah.
If we could ever get Ruben to come out, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
But again, like, I'm able to surround myself with high achievers and get a great workout in.
Yeah.
But again, my point though is that Tom is quite public on where we're going to be.
Yeah.
But no one comes.
Yeah. So I think, a lot of people listening to this right now are probably driving their car, or they're doing something else. Stop what you're doing. Stop right now. Listen to me. Stop right now. Find one person that whether it is, hey, you want to get better, you want to eat better, you want to get in shape, you want to get involved in real estate, stock hacking, whatever it is.
Bitcoin,
find that.
Yeah.
Just start with one person who's at the top of their game, and reach out to that person and somehow rub shoulders with them. Just start with one person. Let that start to change your life, and then that's just gonna snowball into other things.
Amazing.
Now you can go back to doing whatever you were doing, people.
Awesome. Mike, thanks so much for doing this. You're an
Cool.
inspiration to me.
Oh, same, Erwin. you and Cherry have done amazing things yourselves. So awesome.
Thanks to the people we're surrounded with.
Yeah.